Good evening. During the first 2 weeks of the course, you've been introduced to a variety of economic data in chapters 1 and 2 of the textbook. Real GDP, productivity, the unemployment rate, the consumer price index measures inflation, spending on exports and imports, and federal government spending. In coming chapters, we'll be adding more economic data to our list: employment, interest rates, inflation, national savings, spending on investment, and others. Most recently, you've taken a closer look at how the national economy is measured and how it's structured, especially with respect to gross domestic product and the 3 ways of measuring it: as income, as output, or as spending. Our job in this course is to develop models that help to explain, analyze, and predict the data. Each month, new data about the economy is released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Bureau of Economic Analysis, the Federal Reserve, and other groups. On the days that the data comes out, we call them economic indicators, that data. That's a news story in the Wall Street Journal and on podcasts and economic news shows like Marketplace. Part of your job in this course is to keep up with these data releases as they occur. You will keep a monthly journal where you'll summarize the economic indicator releases from that month, and then provide a 1-page summary of the current economic situation in the economy based on the data and your summaries released that month. It's meant to really be part of a build-up and to take small bites of a project that you'll do at the very end of the course, a macro briefing report, in which you'll use that data to help write a broader and bigger report. So I provide you with a number of calendars that lay out the releases of major economic indicators, such as GDP, inflation, jobs and employment, productivity, interest rates, and a variety of others. It's in the Blackboard course site. Think of each economic indicator release each week, each month, like one big piece of a puzzle or a big mosaic. That's the economy. Any single piece won't tell you what the entire puzzle picture or mosaic looks like. But each additional piece helps to bring the picture, the current state of the economy, into focus. That's what macroeconomic policymakers have to do all the time. That's what economists at the Federal Reserve banks do. That's what economists at the Congressional Budget Office and other government agencies do. They're continually trying to understand what's happening to the economy based on the current data that's just been released. As I said, at the end of the semester, you'll develop a macro briefing report where you'll summarize the behavior of U.S. macroeconomic data over the entire semester, and then provide a forecast of future macroeconomic activity based on the current data at that time, macroeconomic policy, and the macro model we will develop. Keeping track of the economic data as it's released is the first step. So let's take a look at where the pieces are in the Blackboard part of the course. So let's take a look at the course. So what you'll see here right now up on the screen is the assignments, exams, homework solutions, exam prep portion of the Blackboard site. And if you scroll down, you'll see the monthly macroeconomic indicator journals and report. And there's some discussion there about what that's all about. If we go there, what we'll do is we'll see that there are calendars, there's guidelines for effective journaling, monthly macroeconomic indicator journals, the link to the journals themselves. Let's just look at one of those calendars, the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. It's the first link in that group. And you'll see that with the current month, it happens to be September 2023 when I'm making this video, right? It'll lay out all of the different data that comes out that month, all the economic indicators that we're interested in. And there's some other economic indicator calendars that have some other data on them as well. So you'll see Friday, for example, Friday the 1st of September, the employment situation. That's a monthly economic indicator. It's a link. It will actually take you out to another site. And it will give information about the unemployment rate, employment, etc. Throughout the month, you'll see other information, the trade balance, for example, the consumer price index, retail sales. You'll see imports and exports, industrial production. You'll see consumer survey, etc., etc. All right. So every month, there's going to be a whole bunch of indicators that come out, and most of them come out monthly. Right? So every week, there's one or two that we'll pay attention to. We're not going to pay attention to all of these necessarily, but some of them you'll see become more important than others. What came out just before the end of or beginning of September, the end of August, personal income. So that has to do about consumer spending, and also one of the ways that the Federal Reserve prefers to measure inflation in the economy, for example, right? That's the PCE deflator, personal consumption expenditure deflator. GDP information gets revised each month, comes out quarterly, but gets revised each month. So each one of them is a link to the actual information as it comes out. What you'll see is that the Wall Street Journal on those days, right, and you are required to get the Wall Street Journal. If you haven't done that yet, you should go back to Learning Unit 0, where there's discussion about how to get access to the Wall Street Journal for free. All right. A&T pays for subscriptions for faculty and students and staff, so there's no cost to you. It's important that you're keeping up with this each day, because this is where this is what you're going to use for your journal reports. If you look at the Wall Street Journal, if you go beyond the advertising at the top there, you can go actually to the economy. Oftentimes, the very beginning, you'll have whatever economic data has come out that day, what's coming up, something about the Federal Reserve, etc. But you can use the economy tab right here at the top and click on that, and it will take you right to the heart of the economic news. So every day, there are multiple stories that are relevant for our course, right? Do higher deficits cause inflation, right? Resilient U.S. economy defies expectations, steady hiring, robust consumer spending, right? So this has to do, has to do with both the spending and employment reports, right? So here's the actual Wall Street Journal piece that went with Friday's, that Friday calendar date report about the employment situation. And so what you'll see is that the Wall Street Journal actually digests the new data as it comes out. It's the Wall Street Journal articles that you're going to be writing a brief summary about in your economic journals as these macroeconomic indicators come out. So you need to be reading the Wall Street Journal, and you need to be paying attention to when the macroeconomic data comes out. If you're reading the Wall Street Journal and reading them, you'll see when they come out, because they come out almost every day. There's something here, and it'll be in the economy section, right? And you can go down, you can look at past articles as well. An interesting one about the family size, we'll be talking about that actually in chapter 3 and chapter 6 when we talk about economic growth. Right, so there are a whole bunch of different things each week that come out, and these are relevant for us. So you should be reading the Wall Street Journal on a daily basis, 1 or 2 pieces every day. Right. So I also have in the Blackboard site current economic news, and I have a number of links. I have a LinkedIn group feed. I encourage you to sign up for that. It's a private LinkedIn group. And there I will curate Wall Street Journal articles, right? But you have to be a LinkedIn member to join the group. So I will reduce some of your work in finding Wall Street Journal articles by providing a feed of Wall Street Journal articles that are relevant for our class. I may not be doing that every day, but you'll see that start to populate as we go along. Also, as I mentioned in the syllabus and mentioned earlier in the Learning Unit 0 in the course, Marketplace. It's a great economics related news show, and they always talk about whatever economic indicator came out that day. And they put it really in terms of the real world relevance. And so it's really, really valuable. Here's the Wall Street Journal, all right, how to read the Wall Street Journal. I have a video guide for that. New York Times also has an economy section. And then there's Planet Money. So there are a variety of places to get current economic news. And that's using this link on the left. All right, now if we actually go to the journals, what does that look like? If we go to click on that journals link back in the back here in the Blackboard website, remember under assignments, etc., monthly macroeconomic journals, indicators journals, all right, and you'll read the guidelines for journaling as well. All right, those guidelines are, it's a Blackboard, or sorry, a Word document, and you'll see, I'll give you some ideas about which things to follow and post on, right? 2 to 4 articles that you should be posting in your journal, right? Along with the Wall Street Journal article, right? A link to that each week. And that'll become just part of the practice that you do. And then the monthly economic indicators report is summarizing what those indicators have said for that particular month. Okay. So what are those macroeconomic indicators taken as a whole telling us about the economy this month and where it's likely to go in the next month? So, and I give you some pointers for what high scoring monthly macroeconomic indicators reports look like, right? That's the end of the month summary. Right, so that will be part of your course grade based, and you'll see that part of the grade for that is made up of the indicators report. That's 80 out of the 100 points. 20 points is on the actual journal itself. Okay. All right, let's go back to the journals. The journals are simply, you'll click on that and you will create a journal entry each time you add one of these economic indicator reports. All right, so you should include the link. You should include a little summary of what that report is saying, a few sentences, 5-6 sentences maybe, right? Because you're going to want to reference back to that at the end of the month, and then you're going to want to reference back to that at the end of the semester when we do the macro briefing report. So this is really meant to build throughout the semester. So I'll be posting some information about this in the announcement page, and we will start doing that since we're now into September. So that September journal 1 is now open.